No other period has been so full with temptations for an Orthodox soul as the current century. Secularization combined to the fantastic achievements of the scientific and technological progress, the fruit of which have embraced all aspects of human life and have established the illusion of man's omnipotence. Sometimes no distinction is made between what is beneficial and what is harmful and destructive. Anything artificial is good when it leads man to God. The proper spiritual education of people based on the right Christian values, based on prayer, on fasting, this all give man God's grace and spiritual power that help him fight against his sins and sinful thoughts. This also concerns the proper treatment of a computer, ethical orientation based on the observance of God's commandments will undoubtedly help man to foster the proper relationship with technological achievements. The proper pastoral care is also part of this process. In other words, we must prepare the proper ways for the use of technology. We have to set the right path for the use of technology. But we should also refer to the spiritual problems. Well, the speaker is reading a text which he has never given to the interpreters. He's reading it fast. The interpreters are doing their best, you know. There are universal abilities of access to various forms of information related to all aspects of human life. This is all characteristic of the computer. Computers have also entered the spiritual environment. Of course, there are technical advantages offered by a computer, and these technical advantages are really attractive for young people. So actually, computers become a ritual equipment of technical means. On the other hand, the industry of entertainment, which is using the multimedia, actually subordinates the man through the pornography or other features of current life. So it is not just the dependence of young people or addiction of young people with the internet which makes their spiritual horizon narrow. Actually, the search of young people on the web is limited to games which have no content of knowledge, and this also affects the language of contemporary youth. And the vocabulary of young people becomes poorer and poorer nowadays because youngsters are not in a position to understand the terms, words, or expressions of their mother language. And gradually, these expressions become obsolete and actually are just an echo of the glorious past. Moreover, young people do not understand the spiritual teaching of the church. The fathers of the church have captured the substance of our faith, and this substance cannot be perceived and understood if not accompanied by some explanations. So this narrows down the spiritual horizon of our young people, and this is a real problem for pastoral care, which requires a prompt solution. We must examine how we can ensure information security while using computers, especially when youngsters and kids use the computers. We must limit access, restrict access to pages, web pages and websites with indecent content. We must limit the number of hours spent before the computer by youngsters or kids. Otherwise, kids lose any contact with the social environment. And parents must use computers only for educational or other decent reasons. And of course, kids should not get addicted to the use of the computer. Actually, within the church, Christians should always remember the importance of Jesus Christ's resurrection. He becomes part of the body of the church, the corpus of the church, and there is always an expectation of resurrection and new creation. He lives in hope and love, and his spirit is the spirit of hope, which means that he has to feel the presence of God in the world, and he has to perceive the future as the present, and he must trust God's provision, providence. Hope must be there and must be based on something which is timeless and undoubtful. That is God. And this hope defeats the temporariness of life. So Christians must be armed with joy and hope in order to be able to fight against the problems of the contemporary period. Hope brings safety and love to people's soul. The meaning of peace, the concept of peace is in church is much broader than the secular concept of calmness. There, the meaning is different. It has to do with contact with God and releasing people from sins. So it is not just an accidental complacence. It's an ontological release from the fear of death. Man is not tortured by worries and concerns anymore, and is able to preserve calm in his inner world, even in the greatest difficulties. And this is how man acquires the spirit of patience, and this is how he conveys such convictions and beliefs to the outer world, which he has to regenerate. The Christian views the outer world in the light of Christ's resurrection, and rebirth of interpersonal social relationships acquire a particular meaning. So man accepts God's love, which is the outcome of the pursuit for happiness with a deep spiritual context. We consider that the most important thing that the church needs to pay attention to is the use of Orthodox fora for missionary purposes. The purpose of discussions or chats and such fora is to show what it means to be an Orthodox and be living in the Orthodox world. Thank you.